Neil?
All right, Chad, thank you very much for that. Senator Steve Daines, Montana senator, National Republican Senatorial Committee chair, joins us. Chairman, Senator, very good to see you. The White House is responding to all these developments, Senator, saying that if Republicans actually believe this impeachment was so urgent for the security of the border, then they wouldn't have delayed sending it to the Senate for 2 months, or now delayed it again for another week. Lays bare how baseless and devoid of substance this whole PR stunt is. What do you think of that?
Well, I'm not surprised, first of all, that Chuck Schumer was hoping those articles would come to the Senate this week on a Thursday afternoon so they could get buried for the weekend. The Democrats don't want to talk about this. Look, the House has spoken. It was a year-long process of hearings, a lot of investigation. They voted to push 2 articles of impeachment over to the United States Senate. We have a constitutional responsibility. We are accountable to the American people to have a trial. We now sit as jurors. Mayorkas has been impeached. The question is, should he be removed from office or not? That is what the will of the Senate will determine. So we need to have full accountability, take it into full daylight here in front of the American people. It's the #1 issue, Neil, for voters across the country. It's not just a Republican issue. It's Republicans, independents, and Democrats are seeing this invasion on the southern border, these illegal migrants coming across. And this is not a immigration debate. This is a national security debate as we're looking at the terror threat right now to this country because of Joe Biden's chaos and open border policies.
Well, you're quite right to say the immigration issue is the overarching issue. It was in caucuses and primaries one after the other, but I don't believe this specific issue of impeaching Mayorkas was. Having said that, I do want to get your thoughts on delaying this delivery of these Mayorkas articles until next week. Are you for that? Are you okay with that?
You know, I think it's the right thing to do. I mean, whether it gets shipped over to us on Wednesday for the beginning of the impeachment on Thursday, literally we'll be sat down in the Senate chamber, we'll be sworn in, we'll sign a book as jurors. We sit as a jury for these articles of impeachment sent to us by the House. I think it's a good thing it's going to come over on Monday. That way we have the week in front of the American people to have this deliberation. It'll be a very important vote because Schumer wants to bury this. He doesn't want to talk about this anymore. The American people want accountability. They're exasperated. We see what's going on. This is a solvable problem, but Mayorkas should be held accountable for what's happened. The Senate will be the jurors next week. It'll be in front of the American people as it should be.
You know, you touched on the idea that maybe Chuck Schumer doesn't want to deal with this, but a lot of your colleagues, Senator, on the Republican side, don't seem all too eager to deal with this. Do you think there are even, more than, a couple of dozen of your colleagues who would want to take this route, go this route, and impeach Mayorkas?
Well, let's be clear, Neil. He has been impeached. The House has impeached Mayorkas. Now the question is the trial. We sit as jurors. And so if one of my colleagues decides that they don't want to convict Mayorkas, that'll be their choice as a U.S. Senator.
But I'm sorry, you're quite right, sir, and I apologize. But do you feel there are enough votes for conviction just among your colleagues? And of course, it's a Democratic-run Senate by the tiniest of margins, I grant you, but that a lot of those colleagues don't want to take that extra step, and that a conviction is not in the offing, even among a good many of your own fellow Republicans?
Well, look, I mean, if as a juror, you need to look at the evidence, as any thoughtful juror would. I'll trust the judgment of my colleagues. But look, the reality is the Democrats control the majority of the United States Senate. It's highly likely Schumer will try to dismiss this outright up front and never have a trial. He realizes that this is a political crisis for the White House and for every single Senate Democrat who have supported President Biden with these open border policies, these policies that President Trump had put in place that were working, that Joe Biden reversed and stopped. This is a solvable problem. Again, you look at for me, as a father of 4, now a grandfather of 6, I'm very concerned about the national security threat that's presented by this open border. We have a serious terrorism threat that's occurring as a result of now nearly 10 million illegals who have come across the border, many on the FBI terror watch list. This is a national security issue. The American people are exasperated. They want something done. This is a chance for us to put this out in full display with a trial in the United States Senate to show the evidence of what's been going on with the Biden administration and why we're at this point in our history.
Senator Daines, thank you for taking the time. We do appreciate that, sir.